Hello everyone. So we're trying to record outside for the umpteenth time. Get it. It's a little nerve-wracking, y'all. There's a lot of people out here, but it's called exposure therapy. It's working. So the intention of the first video... So you're probably wondering, what is she talking about, the intention of the first video at school with clinicals? There was no video of her at clinicals, and you're right. Long story short, I deleted all of my footage on accident, so here we are. Enjoy. So the intention of the first video was basically to show y'all my preparation for clinicals. That was my first day, so I have much more that I feel like I have to learn. So everything that I did to prepare for clinicals the last time, I'll just give a brief summary on that. I basically studied a lot of videos. We have something called Course Point, and it's also called The Point, which includes the course, the ebook. It includes videos of certain skills that we have performed and was checked off for. So we have something called clinical paperwork. I don't have it with me, but I can still include at least a picture of a sample in this video. We have clinical paperwork that I also had to review. I had to make sure I understood what everything meant. It's something called SBAR, and I'm sure those of you who've already completed nursing school or you're in your first semester, you've been introduced to it. The S is in situation, the B is in background, the A is in assessment, the R is in recommendation. So we have to complete those things before and during our clinical day. It includes a lot of different things pertaining to our patient, such as, previous conditions, existing conditions, lab work, medications. I obviously can't show y'all the patient specific information, so I'm not going to do that, but I can show you guys the format for the SBAR, just so you can get a grasp of what I was trying to understand before my first day of clinical. It looks like a lot at first. It's like 6 different pages. It could be more than 6 pages, depending on how many medications they're taking, but it's not difficult to fill out. It's really just pertaining to the patient in general, and you should be able to find information on their chart. Other information that you'll be able to put in is based off of your own assessments, like the physical assessment, or if you feel like they have a specific problems, you have to kind of hone in on that. That's information you have to fill out there during your time with the resident. Something that I've learned now is it's not so much about filling out the paperwork, it's really focusing on the patient, because we're going to have different patients every week. I have to learn how to adjust and adapt to different patients. That's something that I've learned from the actual first day of clinical. I'm still going to review certain skills, such as bed bathing, hair care, denture care, but I still want to know how to do those things just in case I have to. I don't want to just be like pulling information from what I know. I want to do it based off of the textbook because it can be used universally. So I studied the Course Point videos. I'm going to my skills lab today so I can try and practice actual skills. There's people all over. Now I'm adjusting so I can focus on patient-centered care. There's a few more things I'm going to look up pertaining to my patient in specifics that I'm not going to mention because it's their information, but I will look up the details behind certain conditions that I discover that they have. The thing I'm really glad about also is you can always research before or after or during, if you have time, about the condition or disease, so you won't always be completely lost because you're able to use your resources appropriately. So I'm starting to get the gist of everything, and I'm starting to understand why this is a fundamentals course. We're kind of learning how to manage and adjust to adapt to different patients. So when we become a nurse, we can have multiple patients, and we'll kind of have a pattern between the differences of each patient and kind of change your plan of care. That's something that I can say I'm really grateful for. I'm glad that you're learning how to apply each skill uniquely. Never the exact same, but there's general guidelines that I think I'm excited to put into practice. Our first week of orientation, this Tuesday, it was more so orientation, like I said. It wasn't really practice skills or, bed bathing or anything like that. It was more so getting familiar with the facility, with rules, regulations, laws. I met my resident as well, so I was able to kind of assess them initially to see what I would need to do specifically for them. You can kind of consider this a post-clinical / pre-next clinical type video. Next week is also spring break, so I'm going to take you all with me for some of the things I kind of want to do for myself, kind of decompressing and just taking a break and reminding myself how well I've done and how blessed and thankful I am. I'm going to practice some skills today. I'm so happy to be here because after I assess my patient, I'm like, I have to re-practice these skills so I can make sure I'm really accurate. One of the instructors, she was kind enough to get me some supplies for basics of skills like hygiene, oral care, so I can use those supplies in practice. And yeah, now we're going to practice that. So this will be part 2 of my clinical prep for the 2nd week. This is Future Hope saying, by the way, in this next few clips, you will see me working on a mannequin, performing bed bath. That's something I think I might have to work on. I may come across that in the long-term care facility. I did get permission to film in my skills lab. It's not the simulation lab. We're not allowed to record anything or discuss anything from a simulation lab. This is our skills lab where we practice skills initially before we started clinicals. Also, if you guys see me make any mistakes, forgive me. That's why I'm practicing. This is just practice for me. I'm trying to make sure I'm putting myself in the patient's shoes during this practice, and I'm also putting myself in the shoes of a registered nurse. This is me really just feeling everything out and trying to think in my mind about an actual situation. You'll see me perform a bed bath, well, partial bed bath. I didn't go into that because the rest of it I kind of wanted to do off camera. You'll see me kind of try to reenact getting in and out of a tub as the patient and instructing how to get in and out of a tub as the nurse, or at least me visualizing it. This is all practice for me now, so when I get to the facility and I have to perform these skills, I would have said, hey, you know, I kind of thought about these realistic situations. So enjoy. I got permission to record. So as you all can see here, I wrote unique to my patient clinical prep 2. I wrote down some of her conditions and things that I think it's important for me to remember the next time I see my client. I'm not going to show y'all because it's patient information, but I wrote it down so I can review some skills on my laptop here, and we're going to go ahead and practice over here.
Thank you. Sure. First I'll put on fresh gloves.
Bed. Bring it into the tub. Probably a little bit little. Okay, we're gonna help you out. Ready? Go ahead and put your shoes on for you. And take them to the shower. This is the makeshift tub. From my perspective, what I do, I'll be sitting up inside. We're going to lift ourselves inside the tub. We'll sit inside. Lift ourselves inside. Right in that. We don't have stuff in the tub. So, this is the side of the tub. I already have my non-skid everything. I'm going to go ahead and get my robe. I would have actually already did this. I would have helped them dress, put a robe on them. Robe is on. I would have put the dirty clothes in my dirty hamper. You're on the side of the tub with your robe. You can take, make sure it's nice and warm in here and your water is nice and prepped. I'm gonna go ahead and help you take off your robe. I'm gonna put this to the side. You're going to, don't mind, you're gonna use the handles and you're gonna scooch to the side of this tub with this chair. We're gonna pretend that there's handles on this chair here for safety. They're gonna use the handles like so. handles to sit on the side of the tub like so. And then they're going to use the other handles and they're going to pivot themselves into the tub. At the side of the tub, they're going to go ahead and use the handles on the tub to lower themselves into the tub. Now they're in the tub.
Research is supporting their use to prevent infection, especially in patients with central lines.
So something like this. Okay everyone, I'm so glad y'all were able to see me at the skills lab. I had so much fun. I was so relieved to be there. I'm a hands-on learner. I need something to trigger my memory, which is why I was there. I was creating those connections in my mind. When you saw me trying to imitate, if I was a patient, how would I safely get into a tub using the textbook but applying it? I needed that tangible memory, and I think I successfully, by the grace of God, created those memories so when I go to clinicals, I'll be able to have that in my pocket if I need to help any resident with a bed bath or getting into a bath or into a shower. Learning those safety mechanisms are really important to me. My goal right now also not only is learning those skills, but more importantly, learning the skills in a safe manner. I don't want to forget to put a towel in front of the tub so that it's non-skid. I don't want to forget to instruct the patient to use the handles if they're trying to get down into the tub. I don't want to forget, if I'm doing a bed bath, when I'm going to the other half of the bed, to put the other side rail up that you were just standing on, that side you were just standing on, because that comes first when it comes to the patient, is safety. I was really grateful to be there at the lab. I practiced, of course, like I said, the bed bath. I didn't get to oral care yet. I'm probably going to read over those, and if I get the opportunity, I will go back and practice oral care and denture care, especially for residents who may or may not be unconscious, to make sure the residents are safe and they're not put at risk for aspiration. If I'm saying the word wrong, forgive me. I'll put the right word on the screen, but I want to make sure that the residents are not at risk for that if I have to perform oral care on someone who is unconscious. So this was a small prep, just a glimpse of what I do to prepare for clinicals, what I've done to prepare for clinicals. I have adjusted from trying to learn everything. I'm nervous once again, but nerves are natural. It doesn't mean we can't do all things through Christ. I just want to make sure I'm performing and giving my client the best care possible. Spring break is coming up next. I'm really excited for spring break. I'm still going to be studying because like I said, if I hadn't, I'm also studying for my lecture class. We have this huge textbook. It's like this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just get it. I'm gonna let y'all see it. This should be wrong to have to carry this to class, but this is it. See that? This is she. The print is tiny. You see I'm wearing glasses. You probably can't see that. Exactly. Print is tiny. The chapters are very long. I still have to put in work during spring break. I don't want to slow down and get lazy. I will be taking y'all with me on my spring break to remind you, relax. To remind you, take a break. You deserve it. You've worked hard enough. Remember to take a breather. I try to remind myself and my friends or people who follow me, they see, take a breather. Take a deep breath. Do small things to celebrate, as I've said before, and that's what I'm going to do for spring break. I'm sorry for anybody who's a musician. I'm probably butchering whatever I'm making. The lighting is lighting, but the volume is not. It's not working. Oh my God, there's two people sitting right there. Okay, everyone, I came outside because my house is a little loud. It's okay. I wanted to be outside anyways. I just didn't want to be with wasp. Thankfully, I don't see any. I hope I didn't just speak any into existence. If you see me run, you know what happened. Nevertheless, I'm gonna take y'all with me on my spring break. I'm really, really excited. I plan to take advantage of this beautiful weather. It's warm, sunny, it's beautiful. I love me some nature when there's no danger, when there's no insects, when it's not too hot. I'm starting to sound like Goldilocks. I hope you all enjoyed my clinical prep, trying to make a habit out of. So yes. Hello everyone, this is Future Hope. I realized I didn't say bye, subscribe, see you next time. I was just kind of like trying to get out of there, trying to finish filming because I was thrown off a little bit with the different noise levels in my household. I'm still learning to film in the midst of distractions. I also have to invest in a microphone that'll help cancel out some of that background noise. I was also a little uncomfortable because I'm like sitting in my yard trying to record, take advantage of the sunlight and the fact that there's not multiple noises, you know, coming in as it was in the house. I could hear them talking much more than you could, is what I realized, but it still bothered me and it kind of threw off my focus, excuse me. And then being outside, like I said, the neighbors are like looking at me, and I'm like looking at them, and I'm just like, hey, this is normal. But nevertheless, any nurses, if you're in the nursing program, just let me know where you are in the program, some successful study tips that you have implemented into your schedule, any registered nurses who recently finished, or you have X years of experience. Let me know how that's going, what I should look forward to, what I can work on now, as you all saw me perform my skill, trying to reenact and verbalize and visualize, so I can have that tangible memory and put it in practice when I go back to clinical. So thank you all, see you next time, and I can't wait to take you all with me on spring break.